Hello my people. Wacha hata leo niwakaribishe kwa Kiswahili. Karibuni sana wapenzi wa watazamaji na wenye wamekuwa kinifuatilia kutoka mwanzo. Wenye nilianza kutoa video zangu na huko mashambani. Nilikuwa naongea tu napiga story. I was just trying to explain nilikuwa najaribu kufanya muone Kenya through my eyes, like how I see Kenya. I want us to share more of how I see Kenya and the world at large. And ikifika mahali, I will start inviting people so that we can talk, because inasemekananga kwa msemo wa Kiswahili penye wazee hapakosi neno, na that does not mean where only men are. It means that where 2 or 3 people meet, mkiongea utapata kuna mwenye alikuwa na ujuzi fulani anashare na wewe, na mwenye mwingine alikuwa na ujuzi fulani anashare na wewe. Na the importance of communicating ama talking frequently ama talking more is that you get to understand the point of view of the other person, and the other person understands you. And the more you share your views, the more you get to learn how the world works, because the world does not work from only one point of view. Kuna mtu mwenye atakuwa very disagreeable with what you are saying, na at some point atakuja agree with you when you explain to them what you are doing. Let's take for example, today unaweza amka uoge uende place kama town, uende town na kufanyike kitu kama maandamano, then at the end of the day ukuje ushikwe na polisi. In that hulabaloo, wewe mwenyewe huko kwa maandamano uliamka tu ukienda town, maybe ulikuwa umeenda tu shughuli zako different, but in that hulabaloo ukashikwa na ukapelekwa kwa police station. Mtu wa kwanza ukipigia watu waambie uko kwa police station na kuja kuokoe, kitu kwanza atauliza ni how did you end up there. So some of them will judge saying that huyu jamaa nilimuona nikamwambia achana hizo vitu zenye anafanyanga, at some point atakuja kushikwa na polisi, so unaona ni yeye ameshikwa. Kuna mwingine ataanza kushinda huyu jamaa amewezaje kushikwa na polisi, na je msikia na case, je msikia na vituko. Then unless now you tell them what happened, no one will ever conclusively understand what is happening to you. So leo nataka tuongelee only 3 things that happen in the world. Moja ni hii vita nyiko Middle East. Nataka tuongelee tena the National Infrastructure Fund yenye imesainiwa to law today by Bwana Ruto. Then tumalize na the NTSA cameras, the instant finding camera ama yenye na punish lawbreakers kwa barabara. So let us start with the war in the Middle East. So hii war in the Middle East ilianza from a very long time ago. Ni nchi zenye zimekuwa with no peace for the longest for as many of us can remember. Kumekuwa na war in Iraq, kumekuwa na war in Afghanistan, kumekuwa na wars everywhere. Hadi ukiangalia the way the governments are structured there in the Middle East, hakuna government inakaa like iko democratic. Most of the governments in the Middle East, apart from the Iranian government and Israel government, I don't think whether there's another government there which is democratic. Many of them are monarchs, na zingine zinaruliwa na kings ama au the princes of the Middle East. So you can see how the Middle East looks different from what we believe, because we as other countries, ama African countries na other Western countries, we believe that most of the countries in the world, they believe that there must be election where you elect a leader. After electing a leader, they should follow a certain doctrine, that is a constitution that will guide them on how to do. And after a certain amount of time, watoke na mtu mwingine achaguliwe from anywhere. You see that a lot of influence from who was there are determined mwenye anaingia. But when ukiangalia huko kwa Middle East, unapatanga kulikuwa na baba ndiye alikuwa king, akakuja akaachia mtoto. Sasa ni kitu kama kimonarchy, most of them apart from Iran and Israel. So when you look at the war that is starting there, which was basically started So when we look at it in a close up without not looking at history, hii war inakaa ni kama imeanzishwa na America yenye imeenda huko ikaanza kutandika wasee bure. So when Iranians were attacked, they said that this time round they are not going to negotiate, they are not going to be soft, na wataenda kuliterate. By literating alisema they are going to block the Strait of Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz yenye inapitishanga a lot of oil yenye inaenda to the world. Inasemekana inabeba more than 20% of all the oil ama fossil fuels that are going to the international markets. So when it is close to know that they have already cut 1 out of 5 ama a fifth of the oil that is going to the world, then they started attacking their neighbors. Their neighboring countries here, they produce a lot of oil. So when they attack them, those guys are not producing oil to the maximum capacity. So there is no way they cannot compensate what is being lost through the Strait of Hormuz. The same with Russia. Russia has been in war for more than 4 years, and Russia has been weakened for the longest by the sanctions that have been put on them by the European countries na Americans, that they are trying to force them to stop the war in Ukraine. So the only trading partner wenye mebaki sana sana ni in the European country, kuna Slovakia na Hungary, then kuna China which is only country that has been trading with both Russia, Iran na Venezuela without even considering the sanctions that have been put on them. So China has been sailing freely and trying to get the oils from these countries for as cheap as they can because of those sanctions. Because when the sanctions are put, these countries are not trading with many other countries. Now your oil, they have to sell them to the willing partner. Na pia wana sell at a very low cost. And since the US does not have sanctions as China take that opportunity and trade with them. So when the US saw that their sanctions now are not working, now they decided maybe to attack Iran ndio waweze force them now to stop selling oil to China, venye pia walifanya huko Venezuela venye walishika President Maduro wakamshika kumpeleka US wakaeka the unpuppet. That was just another way of controlling the oil transit ama kuzuia oil isiende China so freely and at a very low cost. So when you look at that war in that perspective, you know that the US together with them claiming that they are trying to fight for democracy in Iran ama kupigania watu wa Iran, inakuwa ngumu sana pia understand why they are trying to force themselves into that country, whereas there are many other countries which the US says they are oppressed, together with China, North Korea na many other countries, even in Africa, place kama Somalia, place kama Sudan hapo wanapigana, kama Burkenge, ukiangalia place kama Congo watu wanapigana sana wenye the US can help, but since there is no so much there, they will not come in to start helping, but they want to go to place kama Iran, waende wapigane huko, wa try to overturn the government, like government yao yenye inawasikiza yao, say waache kuuza mafuta to Chinese at a very low cost, and also waweze control the oil prices na endelee control the oil output from that country. That is one way I can see it. Then looking through the eyes of Iranians, before the US went there to fight, we saw a lot of news coming from Iran saying that Iranians are crying to the US for the US to go and intervene and help them combat this government imekuwa ikiwafinyilia ama the oppressive government. So when the US went there, they went with the hope that when they fight ama they target the leadership of Iranians, the Iranians will rise up and take over the government, and by taking over the government, the US will have very easy way controlling the government. But now when you look at it, the way it is going now, after they killed the Khamenei, the supreme leader, things have turned. Now when you saw the people who are pro-government ndio wengi na wameamua come out as many as they can. Na sasa inakaa sasa hata Iran ni nchi haiko imefinyiliwa. So that begs another question. What comes to us when we feel, sometimes we might feel like we are oppressed, but when things happen, like now a death of a leader ama kitu happen in a country ina stand up na pia ina stand behind even the oppressive leaders, because ukiangalia those guys were saying that they don't want the supreme leader because they are a lead country inakuwa oppressive, inatumia a lot of money to facilitate hiyo kuproduce hizo weapons za kufight na pia kufacilitate the proxies zenye zilikuwa zina fight on behalf of the Iran. So unapata people are not contented the leaders, but once Khamenei was killed na his son was elected as a leader, people now are clapping, are joyous, and are very happy that now that his doctrine is continuing. Now talk huko kabisa Iran kabisa, come back to Kenya. We looked at when Ongondowere aliuliwa, people even did not think twice before they chose his son. When you go back to Kitui time Nyenze alikufa, that is Kitui West MP. His wife was elected to replace him. Jana juzi we saw Governor Ngeno who was killed on a helicopter accident. Now people have started claiming that now since his wife was left, she's very young, she's very vulnerable, anafaa kupewa kitu ndio aweze kujistiri ama aweze kujisustain. So now the question asks, what do we look at as people when we are trying to elect our leaders? Does it mean that the leaders that we elect are the reflection of us? That's the question for us to ponder. Now, kama uko na answer to that question, you can comment it below. I will read it and we'll converse. Now let us go to the infrastructure fund. Sometimes it comes a time when things go the way they go. We do not have to be stuck behind complaining on how that thing is bad, how it happened, how it came to be bad, but look at it now in a very different way and now try to find a way to sustain to keep up with it. There is a time when NHF was being replaced by SHA. SHA ikapewa around 104 billion. Tukateta tukidhani hiyo kitu itakuwa overturned. Nothing happened. Wakaeka SHA ikaingia wakasema ina work. But now today I saw some news saying that in the past 1 year, SHA has been caught with the misappropriation of more than 50 billion. You can imagine Kenya losing 50 billion shillings to one system, to one functional department, that is the health insurance, national health insurance. Yenye tulikuwa tumeambiwa wamefunika loopholes zote, but unapata kuna wale watu wajanja kabisa, now they are bypassing those loopholes, wana create their own ways of siphoning money from this system. So that means there are people when no matter how much you do it, they are going to work against your systems na wataendelea to benefit the more. So ukiangalia when you look when they were taking down NHF, walisema NHF ilikuwa beyond control ama ilikuwa beyond repair, take down now wakaeka SHA, wasema itakuwa online, itakuwa everything digitized, hakutakuwa na human intervention in between. But no, people, machines sometimes they cannot outthink humans, because these humans are the one who have created the machines, so they just find a way of creating files na zinakaa fake. Nasema kuna woman mwenye alizalisha more than 10 times through years, kuna mwenye alifanywa surgery kama 3 in the same day. Like now when you see the way things are going, you find that SHA has a problem. Now instead, since you complained and it was not taken down, nothing was changed. Now we have to think, how are we going to cope with this? Because even juzi tumeona tu alikuwa amepoteza another 11 billion. Duale akakuja akateta kidogo akasema hiyo pesa ijaibiwa. Nimeona leo akiclaim that most of the hospitals zenye zimekuwa implicated in this SHA fraudulent claims they are from the Muslim community, but I do not want to put all the blame on the Muslim community, but I want to say that if anyone is misappropriating pesa ya madawa ama ya SHA, that person must be cast. Ama ni mtu mwenye anafaa kuwa even they don't even fear God. Even if they don't fear God, they don't fear what fate can come from mistreating people. So we should think before we act. Now since this thing has happened, has come to us now, we have to find ways of fighting this kind of corruption, this kind of evil. Now the only way we can do that is now outthinking, trying to find other ways of punishing people. Mtu akipata misappropriate pesa hata kama ni 1 million, you first recover that 1 million, you recover another like interest yenye hiyo pesa alikuwa ameiba, then anafungiwa kibanda na pia yeye anafungwa. Like tuseme kama umeiba 1 million, hata hiyo million kwanza inachukuliwa, then unafainiwa like another, hata kama ni 5 million if possible, then unafungiwa hospitali because it is not doing the right thing. Then we can see how it goes. Now let us go back to the NIF National Infrastructure Fund. Hiyo ni kitu when it came out, si tuliteta tukasema Kenya has not been a very straightforward country with our leaders, whereby when they get a way of stealing money, they can accumulate the money somewhere and they steal it all. That's what NIF looked to many people. Watu wengi waliona when NIF was being created, just a way of serikali iende use nini Kenya's assets, in national assets, yeke pesa mahali ndio anze kuiba moja kwa moja. Just sometimes inapatanga wase hata wakiba hata 50 billion. Wanaifanya ikae ni kama 50 billion is very little money. Ukiangalia when NIF was being introduced, people walisema we do not want that thing. Ikaenda kwa koti, ama when they started selling Kenyan assets, Wakenya waliteta sana wakasema they don't want the assets to be sold. It is better for them to remain in the hands of government instead of going to be to the private hands, because when that money is sold, even that money will be misappropriated very easily. Now Ruto akaenda akafikiria, how do I get to sell these assets? Now akakuja na hiyo National Infrastructure Fund, whereby when we sell these Kenyan assets, you are going to put this money here, and this money will be now taken to make infrastructure. Now to put that in a very simple way, let's imagine now you are a family. You have your other properties for the family, ama you have uko na assets za family zenye ziko nje. Hizo assets mlisema kama familia acha zikae hapo, ndio hata ile in case mzaya kuja dedi, tuko na something tunaweza inherit. But mzaya anafika mahali anakuja na convince, anaambia no, tukiweza uza hizi facilities zote, ama tukiweza uza hizi assets na tuweke hii pesa hapa, tunaweza anza kuanzisha biashara 1 2 3, tunaweza jenga 1 2 3, rudisha pesa. But now you know mzee wenu akiuza kitu tu yoyote kwa family, hata kama ni mahindi ameenda akauza, kitu anafanya kwanza anafikiria ni pombe, anaenda na kunywa pombe, hiyo pesa inapotelea wenye ipotea, ama anaanza kutafuta wamama na kula na hiyo pesa hadi kisha ndio anarudi anakuwa humble kwa family, anaanza kuwatetesha. That's how our government works. They come to us very humble, wanatusikiza, they make us feel as if now we are accommodated, ama as if what they are telling us is making sense. Not until when now it comes the time of accountability, wakianza kufanywa kitu kama interrogation, where did this money come at this time and where did it go, wanapata hata hawezi jibu hizo maswali. That is through auditing. Now the question that many people are missing is saying that this kitu will not be audited. This kitu will be audited, itakuwa imeangaliwa, because it's a kitu that is carrying public funds, na according to Constitution Article 227 inasema any money that goes to anywhere that is public money, it has to be audited, na lazima tu wapen all the records, how the money was used and why, and with whose authority. So through auditing, wataweza kupatikana kama wamemisuse pesa wa Kenya, watapatikana. But no, the reason is how will the accountability be taken? How wasa kipatikana wameiba nini pesa ya Kenya, what will be the consequences to them? Because I feel sometimes we get, ama tunawezanga kupata waizi wengi sana, but we do not take action against them. So wengi wana feel like okay, mimi hata nikishikwa takiwe na action, siniendelee tu kuiba, ni accumulate whatever can accumulate, my generation, my family, my generation ipate pesa na iendelee kusurvive. So we should look for a way now, since now it has been signed to law, na hiyo pesa itaendelea. Now they will start selling the national assets very fast, ndio accumulate pesa waende kujenga nayo. We should find a way of now punishing these people for not following what is right na not doing what is right. Na Kenya should be very vigilant, looking kama ukiona tu kitu inafanyika vibaya, let us talk. The more we talk, the more embarrass them, na the more we embarrass them, the less now they go and commit those sins. Now on the other side, we see that NTSA is coming up with another idea of now starting to NTSA is coming up with an idea of punishing people instantly. When you look at the history of the traffic police, imekuwa imekuwa very reckless. Those people even don't fear whoever is seeing them. Kitambo walikuwa naibu kidogo, wakiona passenger na waangalia, they feel ashamed, so pesa ilikuwa inadropiwa chini, wanaokota baadaye. But sasa wanakuja tu wanachukua pesa, even they don't even think twice, they just take it na wanaambia tu mwende. So there is no inspection report, hakuna license, hakuna hata driving license, hakuna insurance. As long as you have some amount that you can leave for them, waendelee kukula, ubakingoja, now you come back again, you are safe. So how is NTSA trying to solve this? First, I saw a law or regulation that was said that all the traffic police are going a body camera. This body camera will record everything that they are doing. So wakichukua bribe, itakuwa easy for them to be identified and to be punished according to the laws that pertain that kind of way. Now that they brought up the instant fining cameras, where the cameras are going to monitor the speeds of the car, wataangalia kama gari na visible insurance, visible number plate, kama insurance yako ime-expire, kama license yako you don't have it. Now they can just flash it, scan it, na they send a message to you. These are good news to Kenyans, because many Kenyans tumekuwa tukisafa sana. Ukiingia gari ya 14 seater mnaeko hapo wasee kama 20. In case of anything, hiyo gari first it is overloaded. In case of anything, makosa tu kidogo ifanyike, hao ni watu 20 umeweka chini. Unajua makosa kidogo ikifanyika itakuwa ngumu control your gari because already it's overloaded. So haina ile strength ya contain hizo irregularities, so ni easier sana cause accidents. Na pia inakuwa pia ngumu sana control that kind of multitude. When you fall, inapata there are a lot of fatalities. So if they can be monitored through these cameras, now to me as many fines as they can, na pia suspensions when you bypass the number of fines zenye unapigwa. I think kuna kind of suspension ndio pia upate adabu. Kuna pia madereva wengine anapeangwa uskani, unaambiwa hiyo drive because umekuwa kwa gari for long, I think kunaweza kuwa na experience, you go there unaanza kuendesha, those will be fined. So I feel this is another good way of controlling the traffic. I think we should embrace it, and I hope that it will not be another avenue for police now to start collecting more bribes, because the fines are well defined. So police kuitisha half of it, utakuwa afadhali nipe police half of this fine, then instead of paying more of it. So I hope itakuwa imekuwa very well thought out, whereby police will not get an opportunity to steal more, because when they get that opportunity, they will steal a lot from Kenyans, na Kenyans will not benefit from these systems. So that is my thought for today, and I hope that we'll continue communicating. Now the more we talk, the more we get better. Thank you for watching.